So hello guys, and welcome to another discussion video. And over the past couple days, there have been a lot of leaks for the supposed upcoming Direct, which is supposed to happen this coming week. But they've all been coming from Pyoro, of course, who's been leaking a bunch of things like Mario Wonder, Super Mario RPG, Pikmin 1 and 2, Sonic Superstars, even a few Pokemon things. They've been leaking a ton of things, even NSO, but recently, there have been some controversy brewing up on Twitter, of course, due to these, leaks for these announcements and everything. I'm not going to go into all of them, because I do have a prediction video planned for whenever the Direct launches, so just when that, or not the Direct launches, but the Direct announcement launches around, probably around Tuesday, so that video will be posted around that time. So now I'm just gonna talk about, Donkey Kong, because that has been the main topic that has been kind of stirring Twitter up over the past few hours and everything. Since yesterday, Pyoro put out a tweet just with a gif of Donkey Kong from the Mario movie, and a lot of people were thinking, oh, maybe it's a new mainline Donkey Kong Country game. Some people were saying it's, DK64 on NSO. I even brought up that it might be a new Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. And that's what it ended up being. So Pyoro said, you see who he is, but never see who he is fighting, and then posted a picture of Mario, or Donkey Kong and Mario fighting under it. And then he even liked some tweets saying Mario vs. Donkey Kong and everything. So I think it's pretty safe to assume that this is going to be a Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. And people have been understandably getting a little concerned about this. Maybe even a little angry about this, because I think a lot of people were wanting a Donkey Kong Country game. I've been wanting a Donkey Kong Country game for quite a while. We're definitely overdue for one, but yeah, I think people are understandably concerned, but I don't think it's worth dwelling over too much, because Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, they're usually budget titles. They're usually smaller titles, either released on the eShop exclusively, or if they are physical, they're like a very cheap physical game, like $30 probably. $30 at most, I would say. Maybe even like $20, looking at some of them. I don't think that whatever this game is going to be, if it's an eShop exclusive, there's no way it's going to be more than $20. Maybe even less than that if it's like a very small Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. Since some of these tend to be very small projects and everything, like the Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. I remember when that released, that was pretty weird. That actually released for free on the eShop on the 3DS and Wii U. That was actually a somewhat interesting one, since it actually introduced a lot of mini characters and everything. But the reason a lot of people have been getting concerned about this is because there is a very good chance that they might reuse the same formula that they have been doing for quite a while in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series. Ever since March of the Minis, the second game on the DS, which released all the way back in 2006, they've been doing the formula where you have to guide the mini Marios to the goal. And it's not bad. It's I've played March of the Minis and Miniland Mayhem and even Mini Mario Amiibo Challenge. Gameplay's not bad at all. It's fine, but it got extremely stale. And if you play more than one or two of these, it gets kind of boring. I'm just gonna be completely honest. It's not bad, but it's just overused. It's even worse than how the new Super Mario Bros. Series is. I mean, it does have a good art style, I'll give it that, because I do like the 2D art style. That's something that I've been wanting to see in the Mario franchise for a while, so I think it is cool that it does that at the very least. But from a gameplay perspective, it's almost worse than the new Super Mario Bros. Series. So, definitely an understandable concern. And then the other thing is, all of this mini Mario gameplay thing was chosen in favor of, like, the actual original Donkey Kong 94 formula that the GBA Mario vs. Donkey Kong had. Like, where you actually controlled Mario, and it was actually a full-on, fleshed-out puzzle platformer. That was a great game. The original Mario vs. Donkey Kong was really fun, along with DK94. Like, those are some of my personal favorite puzzle platformers, and they really expanded upon the formula of arcade Donkey Kong and everything, and kind of went back to the roots of that while expanding upon the formula. That's what I think this series should have done. Like, that mini Mario gameplay really should have just been regulated to, like, a side mode, or a spin-off or something. Like, not the entire series, because it's just a straight-up downgrade from the original game. It's not bad, but it's just, like, it's almost like Paper Mario. It's almost like how they changed Paper Mario, because it still is kind of a puzzle platformer thing, but you don't control the characters, and you have to do, like, this weird puzzle thing and everything. And the funny thing is, it's actually Kinsuke Tanabe who's behind this and everything, with the mini Mario gameplay and everything. Like, I know Tanabe has worked on like a lot of great things, and he's known for like a lot of great projects, but sometimes he can be pretty weird and stubborn about certain things. And I feel like Mario vs. Donkey Kong might be one of those. At the very least, the one on the 3DS, or at least one of them on the 3DS, Minis on the Move, that one was fairly fun. I liked how that changed up the formula and was actually in 3D. I kind of like that one a little bit, but I really feel like, at this point, they should really just go back to the original formula. They've kind of beaten the formula of the Minis in Mario vs. Donkey Kong into the ground. Like, I don't think there's much you can do with that anymore. Like, they've already introduced tiny little mechanics to change it up a little bit. I think people are just tired of it, because the DS ones, they were already on a popular platform, so a lot of people have already played these. And I feel like people aren't really gonna want to see, like myself included, another mini Mario thing again. It's just been getting old at this point. And it's just really disappointing that there's so much missed potential from, like, the DK94 and GBA Mario vs. Donkey Kong formula. So I really hope they actually go back to the original formula with Mario vs. Donkey Kong. And I think there's a lot of ways they could actually do that. And I actually think it might be slightly more likely that they'll go back to the Mario vs. Donkey Kong GBA formula, rather than, like, the Minis formula. So, other than the fact that the Mini formula is overused, the first thing that kind of makes, like, a return to form more likely for the next Mario vs. Donkey Kong game is the fact that the Switch primarily doesn't have a touchscreen. Like, it has a different type of touchscreen from the DS and the Wii U and the 3DS and everything, making it less ideal for a game like this. I know they could still use gyro for kind of connecting those platforms or kind of touching different things on the screen, but I don't think that would be as fun. I don't think Nintendo's gonna want to do that. I think that would just be kind of weird, if they kind of had some kind of alternative to the touchscreen, especially if they were trying to design it around the controls of the Switch. So, yeah, and all of these games, except for the GBA one for obvious reasons, made use of the touchscreen. So that's a reason why I think they might be moving on from that Minis formula. If they do have the Minis formula, in kind of like an original Mario vs. Donkey Kong style game, I think it will probably be like a side mode that you can use in like handheld mode or something. Or they'll do something like the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong, where you have to use Mario to lead the minis to the, like the present boxes and everything. Kind of like that. So we'll just have to see. And then another reason why I think they might go back to the original formula is because they've been pushing the original arcade Donkey Kong quite a lot during the Switch era. Like, they actually brought back, I know Pauline was actually initially brought back in this series and everything, which was really cool. That's one of the things I'll give this series, after the original game. But I feel like during the Switch era, like with Mario Odyssey, that was like a full-on, like they really commemorated like the original Donkey Kong there, had a lot of references to it. Even the movie has a lot of references to the original Donkey Kong. So it would just make a lot of sense to have another spiritual successor to the original Donkey Kong. It just makes too much sense. Like after the movie in Mario Odyssey and everything, and they could even have this take place in New Donk City, which would actually be really cool, and there's a lot of potential with what they could do with that, like, but yeah, so we'll just have to see, and just, like, with the fact that it's hopefully gonna be a return to form, with what I'm hoping and everything, there's another thing that I didn't mention yet, and Pioro said that there will be minis appearing in this game, but they've never said that they won't be the main focus of this game. So the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong, it did have the minis, even though, like, you controlled Mario and everything. The minis were still a pretty big plot point of the game, and were still a major part of the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. So who's to say that the minis will still be in the game, but it will still be a return to form in a similar style to the GBA Mario vs. Donkey Kong in DK94. Like I said, they could relegate them to like a side mode, or they might even incorporate the minis within the game itself. I think it would be cool if they, for one, brought back the actual, like, original formula for Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and then on top of that, they had a new mechanic utilizing the minis. Like, maybe you could use the minis to do something, maybe you guide the minis through the levels, maybe the minis kind of unlock different things for you, maybe you can have one player controlling Mario, then the other player has to guide the minis through the level. They could actually mix up the formula of the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong along with the formula of the sequels to actually make something more engaging and more interesting than any of the other games in the series. So I think that's a good compromise if they still want to utilize the minis and everything. But yeah, we'll just have to see. It will definitely be kind of disappointing if they, like, use the minis again. But if they do end up doing a mini-centric Mario vs. Donkey Kong game like the rest of them, I think there are still a couple things that they could do that would make the game somewhat interesting, even though that would be the less ideal scenario. If they do something like Minis on the Move, where it was in 3D, but they actually drastically change up the formula, if it's pulled off well and is actually fun, it would still be a little disappointing, don't get me wrong, but I think there's still, like, potential for it to be kind of fun if they do something a little different with that formula. And another thing that they could do, a wild card thing that they could do is maybe the minis are still the main focus of the game, but you actually play as the minis, like you play as Mario in the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. Who knows, maybe they could do that, maybe that's their compromise to, the Switch not having the touchscreen as the main focus. Who knows? They could really do anything for this, but I really don't think it's too likely that they'll just, like, copy and paste the same formula that they did on the DS, Wii U, and 3DS. That would just, like, be really disappointing, and I just, don't really think they'll do that. I don't know. Who knows? And then one final possibility that they could do is a remake of the original game. I feel like a couple people have brought this up before on social media, but I think there is a slight chance that this could be like a remake of the original game, but obviously it still would be like a budget title and everything, since the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong isn't huge and everything. So yeah, I think it would make sense since, like Pioro said, it will have the minis, the original still had the minis, and then also Mario vs. Donkey Kong hasn't been announced for the GBA service yet, so there's a possibility that, like, that might mean there's, like, a remake on the table and everything, so who knows, there's quite a lot of possibilities for what this could be. I just hope it doesn't end up being too disappointing. But yeah, anyways, what are your thoughts on what the next Mario vs. Donkey Kong game will be? Let me know down in the comments. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Amazon affiliate link if you want to. Goodbye.